Civilization 7 has just released brand new DLC, including a new leader and 2 new civilizations. In today's video, we continue our playthrough of a previous playthrough that we did with Ada Lovelace, the brand new leader in Civ 7. So if you haven't already, make sure you go check out that video, otherwise this one's probably not going to make a whole lot of sense about how we actually got here. Further to that, this video is going to be a little bit of a different format than the ones that you typically see. It's not going to be a straight through Let's Play, which is why it's not actually a 2-hour or a 90-minute video. We've tried to shrink it down a little bit, just to make it a little bit more palatable, because I know that that has been a large complaint of a lot of the videos that I do, is that they're just simply too long. So let's talk a little bit about the rollover and the brand new age that we're going into. So we managed to secure a pretty decent amount of points. If we take a look at the legacies here, Tubman was the only one who was really that close to us. So let's go ahead and continue on through our next age. So we're heading into the exploration age, and we're going to be using a combo. Now you can use this combo with any civilization, any specific setup, but the one that we're using today is really focused around maximizing the benefits from Ada Lovelace. Ada. I ever since they misspelt it in the press release, I've just had trouble remembering which one it is. So we're actually using her unique memento today. Now that's not part of the actual strategy. So if we take a look down here, here it is, note G. So every time you research a technology or civic mastery, the capital gains production equal to 15% of the cost. So that's basically like we've got Mayans at home that Ada has just got. The second memento that we're going to be using is a little bit up for I couldn't really decide exactly which way we were going to go with it, but the primary way that I was thinking was moving into something like Kite and Key, but in the end, I settled on Eagle Banner. Now, this is the core component of this strategy. So Eagle Banner, you'll need to take it if you're going to look to try and do this strategy. We're just going to take the march up hit with it. And it's an early religion-focused strategy, and the idea is we want to get as many possible relics as quickly as we can. Because in the previous age, to get our relics, we had to do sciencey stuff. We would go through the ages and we would pick up a mastery and that would give us a codex, and then we would go through this mastery that would give us a codex. But things are different here. It's all gated through religion. Obviously you can pick up relics in other ways in the age of exploration, but they're a little bit later on. They're a little bit further down the tech tree, and we want to get that bonus as quickly as we can. So that's what the goal of this strategy is going to be. We're going to be exploring the new world. We've only got one side of the continent, so that's going to limit us significantly with exactly how many resources we're pulling in. So let's go ahead. We'll choose our legacies. Now keep in mind, if you want to play this save, I'm going to leave a copy of this over on the Discord. In fact, before we even do the legacies, let me just go in. I'm just going to save this right now. So if you want to play this save right now, I'll leave a copy on the Discord where you can check it out. So let's go ahead. Let's choose our legacies. So we're going to start off with Filthy. 2 settlement limit is absolutely amazing. So we're going to definitely take that. How many wonders did we get? Let's have a look and see. If we take a look at our ageless, we picked up quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wonders. So that's quite nice. So we could definitely justify going into the wondrous heritage. What's the alternative? I don't think we're going to go for Golden Age amphitheaters. We didn't really get that well of any real adjacencies for them, so that makes sense. And then we can probably look to pick up a cultural attribute point or a diplo point here. Once again, we can always just go down and have a look and see where we are. So I think culture makes a lot of sense coming down this side, especially studying civic masteries, considering the bonuses of Ada. So if we take a look here, just to reiterate what her bonuses are. Cities receive +2 science per age when you complete a civic mastery. This resets at the start of the age. So every time we're going down the civic tree, when we ever complete a civic mastery, that's going to give us +2 science across all cities. That's the first component. Second component is that we gain culture equal to 50% of the total science per turn when you complete a tech mastery. So basically what we're doing here is just our tech is boosting our culture is boosting our science. That's essentially it. So that's what we're looking for, and we want to try and maximize that as much as possible. So I think picking up the culture point here is going to be making a lot of sense. Finally, Silk Road's Golden Age. I've done the math on this one already. It looks to be about 700, 800 gold if you were to upgrade the cities, but there's a little trick that you can do. So it means that we're not going to need that right now. We'll take Master Caravaneer instead. We'll also grab the economic point, and that'll round us out. And then finally, we'll look to maximize our science. I'd love to take the scientific attribute point, but we do not have it. unfortunately. We're just going to take the Great Library Golden Age, and I've done the math on this. The Golden Age Great Library isn't really that crazy. If we take a look at the numbers that we were previously getting, I mean, I don't have them up for you on the screen here, but like the only really good one was this one right here, and even then, like once you lose all your codexes, the numbers on the libraries just don't look that good. So that's pretty much it. So let's also move our capital. So we're going to be moving Wak Kabnal to our capital. And then this is going to give us a second city. So this is a core component of that. So that'll mean that we've now got one city down here, a second city over here. And we're also going to start by upgrading our previous city. So this one's going to cost us 250. We always want to do the smallest city first. So this one's a 15 and this one's a 27. So that's going to cost us 200. And each subsequent city that you upgrade is going to increase that cost. However, it's also dependent on the size of the city. So here we're able to get away with having all 4 of our cities turned over for just only 400 gold. So that's a pretty good deal. It means they've all got production queues. It means that they're all going to be taking advantage of that Mayan unique district that we had in the previous age. So this one right here. And we want to really try and focus our science as much as possible. So let's move into science. We're going to start off with cartography. We got 2 boosts in the previous age, neither of them for cartography, which is disappointing. And for our culture, we're going to start off just with piety. We did get a boost for piety in the last age. When it comes to our opening, we're just going to start with settlers because settlers are incredibly important. We want to try and get them out onto the map as quickly as we possibly can. So we'll go up and grab Koba as well, and we'll put settlers in everywhere. We've lost our nameplates for our cities. I don't know what causes this bug, but it can be very frustrating trying to find your city when the city centers don't look particularly different. We're going to go ahead and move all the resources around. This is a little bit of admin work, and look, to be honest, there's a part of me that just doesn't want to do it right now because it's like, you know what, we want to try and keep this video short, succinct, to the point, all that good stuff. So we'll take this. We'll go ahead and grab the economic points. And now we're going to focus on just moving out all of our units over to the west side. We're waiting for cartography. We want to move everybody out over, or rather the east side. I think I just said the west side. So we want to move everybody out here just to make sure that we have got units in position ready to start taking out all of the city-states that have spawned. Now, you could obviously befriend the city-states, but the reality is we want to settle their lands. And because of that, it means that we're going to need to do a little bit of warmongering. Now, some of our troops, or some of our army commanders do have troops in them, so that will definitely be a good thing for us, but one of our army commanders, we'll just leave him back at home just because we don't really need that much. So that's pretty much them all sorted. So at this point, we've also got our seat bank, or our set bank. Now, one of the key components here is making sure that we've got at least 2 set banks. That's really, really important. So we'll aim to buy one as quickly as we can. At the moment, we can't afford it. That is A-okay. And now we can roll over to the next turn. Now, we're not going to do that. I'm still going to go back here. I'm going to put all the resources in the big cities that I think it's going to take a while for me to do that. So I'm going to leave you guys here. We're going to roll over, and I'll see you in a couple of turns. Okay, it's turn 4, and I think I'm going to like doing this new kind of format of videos. This is much nicer, where you guys don't have to see all the admin work behind the scenes. We can just get to the good stuff. So we're looking to now explore the new lands. We've made our way over towards this eastern front. Unfortunately, we haven't discovered anything. Now, I'll just give you guys a little bit of a behind the scenes. I haven't gone ahead and played any of the turns. I've basically just said, okay, well, you know, cartography is going to be important. We want to talk about that. Piety's about to come through. We want to talk about that. Let's get the turn ready to roll over, and then we can talk about that. So a little bit of, you know, pulling the curtain back, but let's talk about our strategy because we haven't really touched on it, and it's a strategy that I think is probably going to do very well in the exploration age, as well as just in general. I think it's quite strong, but especially for Ada, just mainly because she wants to get relics. And the reason why she wants relics is because, well, let's take a look at those bonuses. So if we can take all of these bonuses and then combine it with the memento, sorry, let's bring that memento back up here, which is an extra 2% science per great work on display, so up to a maximum of 20, then the sooner we get these great works, the better. The sooner we can start converting this into a 20% science boost, which is obviously going to just power everything up. The more science that you've got, then all of a sudden the more culture that you've got, which means then, again, the more science that you've got. It's infinite. So what's the combo? What are we going to do? Well, let's take a look and see. I don't think we can actually view religion at the moment, but what we're going to be doing is going straight into economics after this, and then from here we will look to we'll look to study our religion. So we're going to grab a temple. We want to grab the quickest possible temple that we can, and we've got a 1-turn temple in here, so we're just going to take it. This is our previous capital. We're not going to put it down on top of this because we're getting some good influence from here, so even though that's a +12 happiness, and that's a very nice building, we are instead just going to look to overbuild absolutely everywhere that we can. So I think that we'll just go ahead and throw it down on the amphitheater and the arena. Not a bad little spot here, and all of our settlers are now getting towards completion. So we've managed to do a pretty decent job here with this. Let's also go ahead and we're just going to move our general back because we want to get everybody inside the general before we go. Because one of the issues I've found is that if you don't get everybody inside the commander, rather not the general, the commander, before you go, then you'll get a message that says they failed to find the commander, and that's not pretty. So we're just moving ahead on the open ocean because cartography has now come through. So we're looking to explore, that's the key component, but also just take advantage of anything that we can find. We want to try and stagger our settlers as well. We want them to come on different pathways. We don't really care how much damage they take, just as long as they don't die. That's going to be the key thing. So we want to try and branch them out as much as possible. And now that we've got the first bunch of settlers out, we can actually talk about overbuilding a little bit. For me, the key component here is always production first. Production first makes the most sense, and we want to overbuild. We always want to focus on overbuilding because we get bonuses for overbuilding. So if we take a look at our policies, so at the moment we've got a 30% production towards overbuilding that we can put in here. So we'll go ahead and grab that new policy. And on top of that, the government choice that we've made today, it's probably my favorite government at the moment. How do we see government? Let's go into government overview, plutocracy. And surprisingly, the 30% production towards overbuilding for 10 turns is very strong, especially because you're going to want to do a lot of overbuilding to maximize that bonus. So here, if we were to put this on top of the altar, that's not going to overbuild it because there's an open slot. So what we'll do instead is put it in this position here. We can actually throw it out on any of these positions here, but we'll go for this one right here. We want to try and maximize these overbuilding bonuses as much as we can. Stone cutter. We'll throw the stone cutter out towards the edge here. We don't really care about this town and its adjacencies because our plan for this game is Machu Pikchu. It's going on this tile right here, and it is going to be something absolutely amazing. We're going to be combining that with the margin per hit bonus that also provides that extra little bit of specialists that we can use. So our primary goal here is to move into shipbuilding, but of course, when it comes to Ada Lovelace, one of her key components is that when you complete a technology mastery, you get culture equal to 50% of your science, and it's important for us to get culture ASAP. So what we're going to do is while we're heading up towards shipbuilding, we're going to do a pit stop at every single mastery that we've got on the way. Technically, we're delaying shipbuilding, but it shouldn't really affect the greater strategy, just primarily because our thinking here is that really, that's where you want to head, and that's how you want to get there. See that you can't trust the AI, man. I'm telling you, don't let them drive the car. We'll say that much. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we found spices, so we're going to be settling out here definitely. Normally, the way I think is the more you can find, the better, and you just want to try and settle them as much as possible. Looks like we got a neutral city-state out here. We could look at potentially befriending them, but the thing is, we're going to be needing a lot of our influence for the second component of this strategy. We've just unlocked Siam, but not really. You know what it's like. You never really unlock Siam. Siam? Anyway, we'll throw this down on the granite. Did I just get a notification on my phone? I think I did. Apologies. I don't know if you guys would have heard that. I'm going to turn myself onto D&D because I don't want you guys to have to hear that. And we're going to continue filling out all of these. We want to make sure that we're prioritizing overbuilding just because we get more production when we're overbuilding. And now we can pick our religion. So let's talk about it. This is where we take Ada to the next level. So we're just going to go ahead and we'll just grab Taoism. It's easy to remember. And our reliquary beliefs here. We're going to be getting 2 relics, the first time conversion of another civilization's capital city. And this is great because it's pretty easy to do now that they've actually fixed it up and they've made it so that you can convert capital cities. Previously, you couldn't. So here's Gao. Axum used to be the capital. Obviously, now it's been moved over onto the coast. And previously, if Harriet Tubman made this the holy site of her empire, we would not be able to convert it. But the good news is we can now convert it. So let's add a new founder belief here. And there's really a part of me that wants to go for science. Interfaith dialogue makes a lot of sense, right? For the strategy that we're doing. But one of the things I've noticed is that gold is often the king in the exploration age. It just allows you so much control over what you can do. So instead of going for interfaith dialogue, which is very tempting, I'm instead going to stick it out with type. This is a second level of the strategy that we're going for, and really it's optional. It's not core to the strategy itself. We want to always make sure that we move these into the cities. So it's not a core component of the strategy to actually have that. So looks like we have again found land out here. So we'll move this settler. This settler can come up towards the north like that. So we want to try and make sure that we've got them spread out as much as we possibly can. and this settler can actually move across here. We're going to go settle over here, and we'll roll over the turn, and we've got one turn before we actually hit our cartography mastery. So let's go ahead, and we're just going to take influence here. We already got 100 happiness per turn, and we're getting our next celebration in 2 turns, so we're doing quite well in that regard. So let's go out and do a bit of scouting here. It doesn't look like we've spotted anything too exciting to talk about there, and our settler is going to follow up in the rear. Other than that, we've got another settler down here. Let's move this great general across. There's nothing down here. We might not need to actually send that general or to actually do anything. Oh, we got to be careful before we actually move that general out. We'll bring him back in just because we want to have that that lovely young gentleman out there joining them. I'm talking about the swordsman that we just moved. And we're going to go in and drop our bazaar. There's not good adjacencies in this city whatsoever. And I think we might just sweep around the back here first and just try and get a bit of a lay of the land before we do it. But we're now going to get that bonus for cartography. And with the bonus for cartography means that we just got a huge boost to our culture. I think it works out to be about 80 culture. We'd have to double check our numbers. We were meant to move you back. Sorry, sir, you've missed the boat. You're gonna have to go back to the other place. Go back to the other. We can gain a boost, but it's gonna be 2 turns of production. You know what? We don't actually mind that. Let's go ahead. We'll grab another boost. That just completes machinery for us, so we'll definitely take that. And that means that we can now move into the machinery mastery, which is going to further increase our study of economics. And economics are going to be very important for us because that is going to be a core component of our strategy. We're looking to get our early belief into religion, so we're going to start off by going into economics and then moving into theology. And this will allow us to get one additional belief, and that belief is going to make it so that when we send a trade route out to another leader's city, it will immediately convert it to our religion. And when it converts to our religion immediately, that is going to give us 2 relics because we're going to be converting the capital. So you've got 2 relics here. You've got another 2 relics over here in Madrid. You've got another 2 relics up here in Lahaina. And then we've also got the ability to go and get 4 more relics from the other continent as well. That is the strategy. That's the way that we're going to do it. That's the way that we're going to get that 20% bonus to science immediately. Well, it's not immediately, but you guys get the idea. And then, of course, we're going to stack that up with the existing Maya bonuses with the Note G on top of that. So it means that we're able to get all the world wonders that we want in the cap just by having crazy science. That's essentially the strat. So I'll leave you guys off on turn 8, but we'll see you guys very soon. Okay, it's turn 10, and it's time to talk about our settlements out here on the ocean. We've done pretty well to uncover a lot of the archipelago, but unfortunately there's not a lot of resources that are out here. The only ones that we've found so far have been the spices, which means that we're going to probably need to prioritize settlement over on the other continent. We've also spotted out the single spices that it's got 2 city-states that are nearby. So we're probably going to need to play a little bit more of a defensive game. Unless we befriend this city-state, it's going to mean that they're going to come and war us. Because if we take a look at this settler, you'll see that no matter where we settle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles away, it is always going to upset them. So either we befriend them right now, which is going to fork out 340, or we just call it war. And I think it's probably going to be the latter of the 2. Other than that, that's pretty much it when it comes to settlement. The primary thing, though, is that we've got our settlers that are moving out. We've got one in the north. We've got one at the top, or the I guess you could call it in the middle. We've got a second one, or a third one rather, that's moved across here, and then a 4th one that's down here. So we're just kind of flooding across over to the new world. That's essentially it at this stage. It's turn 16, and we're about to roll over our existing turn with 1 to go on theology and 1 to go on feudalism. Theology is going to be instrumental because it's going to allow us to pick up our additional belief, which is going to enable our merchants to actually convert these cities. So our merchants have started making their way across the map. We'll go ahead and get our swordsman, get him all fortified up here, and you'll hear that lovely sound. We can now look to get our upgrade in. So let's go ahead and do that on our religion. We're going to add a new belief, and we're going to choose Dawa, which is when a trade route is established to a settlement, it is converted to your religion. So what this means is that instead of having to build religious units like we've got over here, we've got a pedanda that is going to have to come out and convert Madrid. And the reason why that is because our merchant doesn't quite reach yet. I'm sure maybe later on in the game that it will, and we need to convert that over. Now, fortunately, it means that up towards the north, we will be able to get a merchant out there, and we will also be able to get a merchant down towards the south. So that's going to be at least 4 relics that have just come through from our merchants, and another 2 relics that will come through from our religious unit out here. And that's going to give us 6 relics just at the very beginning. We're only at turn 17 here. Keep in mind, this is on standard speed as well. We're not playing on online speed. So that's basically us kicking it into 5th gear early on, and that's going to really compound our science. We've got some decent adjacencies here, a plus 16 over in the previous cap. It's a lovely little spot that we've got here. We've picked up a whole bunch there. I think there's a couple specialists working on this tile as well. Yeah, 2 out of 2 specialists, which is always nice. So we'll leave this component here because that's the only little update that you need. Actually, no, you know what? I'll give you another little update. We've settled out here towards the east side, and we've managed to take 2 of the resources, and we've connected them already up at the moment to the network, but just keep in mind that they won't actually start producing anything until we've got shipbuilding. So that's what we'll need to focus on getting. Other than that, we're looking to now settle over on the mainland, and the other thing is we've asked for open borders, just primarily because we actually need to see the capital. We need to know where that capital is because we are going to be sending out religious units. We're saving up all of our gold right now, and that's going to be converted into religious units, and then we're going to be able to subsequently turn those religious units into even more gold. It's a whole economy. Anyway, we'll leave it there. I'll see you soon. It's turn 20 and our merchants are in position. We've got 1 merchant that's in the north, 1 merchant that is in the south, and we've got a religious unit over towards the west side because we couldn't reach out here. And if we take a look at the relics that we're currently displaying, we've got a single one that is in the capital, and we've got 4 more slots at the moment. So we're going to have to work on getting our slots up, which will just mean that we'll have to purchase temples out here once we've got enough gold. So let's go ahead and start converting. So immediately we now convert, and that's going to give us 1, 2 relics. Then we'll actually just do a conversion out over here, and that should give us another 2 relics, hopefully. We'll have to double check and make sure that we're getting all of our relics. Indeed we are. We're now up to 5 relics. And now down towards the south, we're going to go ahead and grab another 2 relics here. So if we take a look, we should now have 2 in the bank, which we do. And we've located the capital of one of the leaders on the other island. And wouldn't you know it, it just so happens that our merchants are indeed able to get out here and send him a trade route. So that's going to be another 2 relics, which means that essentially, we're still at very early stages here in the Age of Exploration, but we've managed to already get ourselves a huge boost to our science, which means that this is not only just a viable memento, but this is an incredible memento because this is effectively plus 20% science for the majority of the exploration age. Now, I probably wouldn't look to use it in the Age of Antiquity, though we'd have to wait and see. Maybe we'll have to run a couple tests and see what we can get, but it definitely makes a lot of sense in my mind to be going for this when you can see just how quickly you're able to build up these relics, and it's only going to be a matter of time until we've got more. If we roll over the turn, we should have enough to purchase another. So we want to purchase out in our towns. I actually prefer to purchase out over on the settlements on the islands because it means if they ever get converted, we're going to be able to convert them back. So we've got 5. We're just short a little bit, but anyway, we'll leave it there for now, and I'll see you guys soon. It's turn 29 and we've just unlocked shipbuilding. Shipbuilding is going to allow us to get across the ocean very quickly. It means that we don't take damage anymore, and an instrumental part of the exploration age. But now that we're here, it means that we're freed up a little bit with regard to our tech tree choices. And it might be tempting to come down and grab the shipbuilding mastery, but we're not going to do that in this game. Instead, we're going to go up towards castles, look to pick up the dungeon for some extra production. Not that we need any more. Keep in mind that we played the Mayans in the first playthrough, and that has carried over now with our very specific buildings that we've got, or our unique districts. Only the Mayans have access to these, and this just means that throughout the mid-game, we're just, it's broken. It's absolutely busted. I hope that the Mayans get nerfed, because it's just not fun. It's not fair, because it makes the Mayans such a strong pick in the Age of Antiquity. But this video isn't about the Mayans. It's about Ava, and or rather Ada, sorry, it's going to be hard. And it's about this strategy that we're doing here with religion. So at the moment, if we take a look at our relics, you'll see that we've got a pretty good number of them. We've got 2, 4, 6, 7 at the moment, and then we're going to go and convert this city over to our religion, and that's going to give us 9 relics now, and that means that we've got all of these great works filled out, and that means that we're at 18% science. Another thing that we're doing is combining it with rationalism, which is under theology, and that will give us extra 15%, which is very nice. At the moment, we don't have all of our cities converted over, so we're working on converting them back, because the AI will obviously convert them. And so with that, that's going to increase our science. So the main focus here is just pushing up our science as high as we can. We're at 282 because obviously with Ada, the more science that you've got, the better. So we'll go ahead and continue to try and enforce our own religion in our cities. We don't care too much about the towns. They can take the towns, but when it comes to the cities, that's the most important component. And we're going to look to continue expanding over towards the brand new continent. Further to that, we've also found a really nice cluster of resources. We've got tea, we've got sugar, and we've also got silver. I've been advised that silver also counts as one of these luxury resources that we can bring back. So it's a treasure resource. So that's what we're going to be looking to do. We've also spotted a nice little expansion down here. So we'll make sure that we take advantage of that. On top of that, I just realized we've upset somebody down here. We've upset Kamagui. So I'm going to go deal with that, and I'll see you guys very soon. It's turn 31, and Isabella has declared surprise war on us, which means that we've gained a little bit of war support in our favor, but she's done a very good job in taking us by surprise. So we've changed over all of our production now, with the exception of the capital, which is going to keep working on world wonders because, well, that's its job. But everyone else is going to be working on knights. We've also purchased a knight in Chichen, Itza, and hopefully we're going to be able to hold off on this attack. Our expansion has continued over towards the west. We actually have, we've got quite a number of towns that are beginning to build up over here. And colonialism has finally arrived. And that is going to help us out a huge amount here, because it's going to mean that our production goes through the roof. As you can see, we get a 152 bonus to production. And that's a pretty decent amount of production. So we're going to go ahead and slot that in. Now, I don't know if this number is always correct. Sometimes I'll slot something in and be like, you know what, that didn't actually work. So just keep in mind that if you want to use this mod as well, it doesn't always, it doesn't seem like it's working 100% of the time. But further to that, I'll leave a link on the Discord where you can catch all of the mods. The other thing is, I feel like having the extra gold per turn right now that we've had war declared will make a little bit of sense. So we're going to go ahead and we'll take charters. We're just going to keep an eye on how much it actually pushes the gold up. We should now go to 309 gold. And we only went to 360. So that's where it's like, I'm a little bit sus about it. You know, it looks good, plus 55, but the reality is it doesn't always match up. So we'll go ahead, we'll put the science back in because it gets the science correct. We got up to 278, and we're going to do a little bit of defending here. We might have to do some more purchasing. We've already bought the knights that are down here, but I think we might have to move into a crossbow or two as well. Anyway, we'll see you soon after the war is progressed. It's turn 34 and the war is not going particularly well. Chichen Itza looks like it's about to fall. We've got a couple of movements left, so we're going to switch out our knights. We're going to start fortifying on this city center tile and hope that our defense is going to be enough. We've got crossbows coming up the rear, but the cavalry has managed to get out pretty quickly across the map and been able to reinforce. We want to move this knight back so that it's going to be able to heal, so we'll get it out of the way. And now we can start using our additional knights to start cleaning up the rest of the army that's back here. We've also got a swordsman that we had left over that missed the initial boat over to the newfound land, and he's going to be instrumental in our defense here. He's going to be helping out, take out the archers from the back line. But we've got a couple of turns to go until our next ships come out, or not our next ships, but rather let's go over to here. Our treasure fleets come out. So we've got 2 turns to go. We've got a 1, a 3, and we've got another 1 down here. So it's going to take us some time before we're actually able to complete the treasure fleet component of the exploration age. But I'm confident that we should be able to do it relatively quickly, despite the not the strongest of starts. And oh, don't fall, Chichen Itza. It's so close. If that unit died just then, we lost Chichen Itza. But how do we go about defending this? Now, if the swordsman came down earlier, that would have been definitely the right call. What we could look to do, we've got plenty of gold in the bank. We could actually just purchase a unit here. And you're kind of just like living on life support if you do that. If you can rotate another unit in, you'll be able to get the final fortifications through. But we're not going to be able to do that. So we'll continue moving down and try and push back out over on this edge. Our crossbow is going to be able to shoot and move. We should at least be able to shoot here or move here and then shoot into this tile. And then we'll look to move our commander across, and then we'll take out over on that position. Our commander, though, even though he picks up the promotion here, we can't move him on any further. So our main focus here will now just be on cleaning up these forces and beginning to push back the rest. So when we could even look to attack into this, even though it's not a smart move to do that, just simply because it's going to reduce the effectiveness of these guys on the next turn. So let's go ahead. We'll move this knight backwards. and we can look to purchase, we could go for a men-at-arms, but the knight has got the higher bonus. The one thing to be cautious about is the tertio. The tertio gives the additional damage to any nearby units against cavalry. So if the tertio were to move up and then the attacks were to begin, it might actually be counterintuitive to have the knight there. But we'll go ahead, we'll purchase it anyway. And we'll also slam this. And ideally, if we can bait away some of these attacks from the front line, I think that's going to be quite helpful for us. So let's roll over the turn. We've accidentally walked over this bad boy right here. There we go. We'll roll over the turn. Oh, let's get back over there and see exactly what the play is. Wait, we missed everything? We missed everything, but we held it. Unfortunately, the consequence of those turn rollovers is that sometimes you do miss stuff. But we're going to be able to defend this. I'm confident. I don't think we're going to be losing too much in the way of cities. I think that we should be okay. When it comes to the cap is defending with the seat bang. The set bang, we're just using our ranged attack over here. The tertio is not actually doing too much work, and we're going to continue moving forward out with our crossbows. Our knights are into a decent little position. We've got a flanking maneuver that's out here as well, and we can look to do some decent damage. Even though that's a tertio, we're going to be absolutely fine. We could look to get some war support, but just keep in mind, I don't think war support carries over for the, or if I don't think it stays for the existing turn. So if we look right now, it's -2 war weariness for Isabella. If we go and put points into this, so we'll just put 1, that should now be -3 war weariness, but it still only says -2 war weariness. So it doesn't carry over, like, you can't just dump it and then immediately attack. You got to wait a little bit for it to work. So let's focus these units down. So we'll look to try and take out the tertio. We want to avoid losing units at all costs. So let's make sure that we move any of the lower health units back. And now we can bring our general across. How are we going to do this? Because we want the experience for the general, but we don't want to actually get him injured. So that'll do decently for us there. And we'll move this knight out once again. We want to move our low health units to the back. And then we're going to purchase once again on this city. It's going to be another knight. And we are now, I think that's all of the moves that we've got in here. There's still other things that are going on across the map, but I'm just going to force end the turns just so we can focus on the war here. It looks like we have... Do we take any losses there? It doesn't look like we took any losses, which is wonderful. And it looks like Chichen is holding. And you can see that this knight has only taken a little bit of damage here. So despite the AI being on deity, it hasn't really... I mean, it's done a good job in its attempt to take us down, but we've just had the resources to defend quite effectively. So they tried to come through. They tried to cut off our resupply route with a tertio as well as a knight. We were able to take that down. We were able to take off their flank over towards the west side. We were just able to reinforce this position very quickly, and that's largely because of that gold income that we've got. So I think there's a part of me that, you know, if we look at our religion at the moment, we're only on 15%. It's not too crazy, but if it wasn't for that early boost of gold that we had, I don't think we have the economy to support ourselves right now. And I think that's part of the reason why gold is just so good in Civ 7 is because you're able to utilize it in situations like this. You're able to take advantage of it. So we'll close out this turn right here. We've still got some high health knights that are in here. We should look to try and focus down any units if we possibly can. So this one here, we're going to be able to target. We've got tertio at the back here. Let's see if we can just go take that out. Indeed we can. Absolutely lovely. And now realistically, we want to move onto this tile just so we can purchase another... Just so we can purchase another knight. Reduces the risk even further. I don't think it's going to happen, but it reduces that risk even further. And now we can look forward to taking that tile. And we can... Oh, we actually didn't get it. We must have had that's a very low roll. That was a very, very low roll. And that is it. I mean, that's... Realistically, that's the defense. From here, we could look to counterattack, or we could just try and end the war, which I think is going to be the best for us, because at the moment, there's really not much to counterattack. She's got a whole 2 cities. No, there's technically 4. There's another 2 somewhere around here, but these are the only meaningful ones. It's turn 46, and the war is going relatively well. We're now pushing back on the Western Front, and Isabella asked us for peace. Of course, we told her no, and the reason why is because we want her cities. Now, she did offer us a specific town. If we go take a look here, and propose peace, she will offer us, I think, Barcelona, but Cordoba is what we want as well. We want to take absolutely everything from her, and as you can see, we've got Madrid and Moisset that are here, so Cordoba could potentially have some of those treasure resources, and they are absolutely important for us to get, so we want to maximize those. Speaking of treasure fleets, though, let's take a look and see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that have already come online at the moment. We don't have any points for this, so this is going to hopefully pump us up a little bit. We also get some nice gold, some much needed gold. Not that we're needing any real gold. We've got absolutely plenty, so that's going to give us quite a bit of points. If we take a look now, that pushes us up a decent amount. But of course, we're on turn 46, and we're really not that high just yet. Now, one other thing to note is that we have a city-state bonus to choose. We've gone and befriended neither of these two. We've gone and befriended Chiang Mai, and that is because Chiang Mai was already a neutral city-state, so it meant that it was going to be a lot faster. So the sooner we get it, the better, because we want to take the Stone Head. The Stone Head is going to give us a huge boost to culture. At the moment, we're sitting at 333, which is a decent amount, but it's going to go even higher, because not only do we have the Stone Head, but we've also got the Serpent Mount. So we're going to go ahead and just purchase a whole bunch of these, if we can. No, it doesn't look like we can. Not in here. Oh, that's awkward, isn't it? I was so excited. I was like, okay, we're gonna spam these Stone Heads, but it looks like I've still got a little bit to learn. What's the placement for Stone Head? Stone Head, it must be placed on tiles with a natural happiness yield. Okay, so similar to the one in the Antiquity Age for science. So is there even anything that we can actually put it on? It doesn't look like it. Stone Head, here we go. We've got a Stone Head, 512. Jeez Louise. They're quite a bit, aren't they? So that's our first one. Do we just not have a lot of happiness yields? Is that potentially it? We want to ideally do these in cities as well, just primarily because that's going to have a potential for us to... Oh, we want to make sure that we don't queue it. We want to purchase it. That's going to make sure that we can use multipliers for it. So we've managed to pick up some decent... There we go. There we go. That's what we're looking for. These bad boys right here. So that now brings us down to 800 gold. And I don't think we've got any more in here. There we go. There's another one. We've got actually a second one that we can put down, but we've spent all of our gold on Stone Heads, and that now takes us up to 359, which is a nice, it's a slight improvement. It definitely could have been a lot more. I was hoping for a huge boost, but, you know, as I said, we're doing this live right now. We're not playing through, and have a look at this one. This is going to be fun. Which way do you go? 2 gold per age for every active trade route, or for every tech and civic mastery completed in an age? Because at the moment, we've completed a fair few masteries. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we've also got on the other side, I don't think we've actually picked up any civic masteries yet. Oh, we've got 6 down here, and then we've got trade routes, and we've just been trading out the wazoo. I think we've got to take trade routes. We're on 315 at the moment. That's going to push us up to... What do you push us up to? 347. That's pretty damn good. But we're definitely going to come back. We'll double back to make sure that we pick up that other option. Now, speaking of trade routes, we're looking to actually send our trade routes out across the map. We haven't actually located the capital yet for Machiavelli. But the good news is we have managed to secure all of our... let's go. We'll get it the third time. There we go. We've secured all of our relics, so we're up to that 20% science, and we are just absolutely pumping at the moment. 470. That's not too bad. Just keep in mind that when it comes to my sort of benchmarks in Exploration Age, I don't have a lot of experience yet. So, I mean, normally turn 47, I'm sure there's probably people that have finished the Exploration Age by then. I know if I was playing on online speed, I'd be finished by now. But I guess that's just that's the fun thing about playing in the standard speed, is it's a little bit more balanced. Things take a little bit longer, which I think is definitely a welcome change. But still no cap. Where are you hiding this cap? It must be... I've got no idea where he's hiding it. Am I blind? He's got... How many cities has this guy got? It's got to be up here. No, it can't be there. He's got 7 cities. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see 5, 6. Where is the 7th one? He can't have moved his cap offshore. There's no way. It's got to be up here, just randomly hiding. Like, maybe it's out here. This is there we go. We found it. We don't want to declare war though, but we found the cap. All right, that means that we're going to start a trade route there. We're going to convert that over to our religion, and that's going to increase our gold even more. So we'll leave it there for the moment. That's your brief little update. Turn 47, and I'll see you guys soon. Well, I'm not sure what turn it is, but we've received a peace offering, and the question's going to be about how much we can actually get out of it. Unfortunately, we've also had war declared on us by multiple other leaders. Things are slowly coming together. Don't worry, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Isabella has rejected our peace offering, but that doesn't mean we can't just come back. Let's see if... So she won't actually give us Barcelona again and won't give us Cordoba. So I think that's one thing to learn, is that if they offer you a city or a town, you're just going to be able to take it. Because as you can see, we're pretty close to taking Moisset here, and we can probably get away with it. The only trouble is we're getting invaded from the north. And over on the east side, or the east continent, we have also been declared war on by Machiavelli, which threatens our potential treasure fleets. And that's something that we need to be very cautious about, because we need these. These are a key component of our victory today. So we've managed to reach the first milestone, but it's going to take some time for us to actually reach the final milestone. We've completed our cultural legacy path, but our economic legacy path has still got quite a while to go. You can see that we're also needing some work on these ones as well, and we will continue throughout the game to do that. But I guess we'll leave you here and resume shortly once this defense has been taken care of. It's turn 56, and it's time for us to complete Machu Picchu. I've heard this world wonder is quite powerful. Let's actually see if the rumors are true. It's meant to give, oh my lord, it's meant to give adjacencies not to floods. It's meant to give adjacencies over to all of the tiles that are around it. On top of that, it also gives adjacency, oh my lord, look at those yields. It also gives adjacency to the specialists that are inside. So as an example, right now we've got 2 buildings on each of these tiles, and so each of these tiles are receiving 4 gold, and each of the buildings have got 4 gold and 4 culture inside them. On top of that, because there's 2 of them, they receive, well, there's double. But if you put a specialist on the tile, like we have down here, we've got 2 of a possible 4 specialists. It means that we're also getting adjacency bonuses for those specialists. Now, there's a little bit of an attack that's underway at the moment, so you will have to excuse that. Let's see if we can deal with some of these forces here. We don't have any commander back here for the moment, so we'll just have to take it lightly. But if we go ahead and grab the House of Wisdom, we can start putting this down on some tiles. So we're going to go put the House of Wisdom down over here, and that's going to give us access to a specialist. And we're going to go ahead and we'll just put it on the same tile that we've already got specialists in, and that's going to go ahead and pump those numbers up a little bit more. And we can take the House of Wisdom again and put it on this tile. And then let's go ahead and we'll do it one more time on this tile right here. And we can probably go ahead and do that. We don't have any more rural tiles that we can get. This one here is another one that we can get, but because we're under attack at the moment, we're not actually able to clear that out. But that gives us access to more specialists, so we can go ahead, we can put another specialist on this tile, and you can see exactly why you'd want to have a whole lot of specialists in a city with Machu Picchu, because each one of those specialists is going to be getting those adjacency bonuses. 4 gold and 4 culture on top of the ones that are immediately adjacent to it. It is incredible how powerful this world wonder is, and it just means that you're easily able to hit that science bonus every single game here. We've obviously stacked up a whole bunch of specialists onto the one tile. We've got so many yields that they're merging at this point. Looks like two black holes that have found each other out in the middle of space. But obviously, we're going to have no problem getting this up throughout the course of the game. So Machu Picchu definitely, I suspect this is probably going to be an S tier world wonder in the exploration age. It is incredible, and I beelined straight towards it. And I think, if anything, this kind of makes the Incans a bit more powerful, because they can just build it so early on. Anyway, we'll leave it there, and we'll see you guys in the next turn. It's turn 65, and we've gone ahead and captured Waset. It's taken us some time to get here, but the whole goal is that we were going to be able to use this as part of a trade deal to hopefully get some of these towns or cities that are out over in the more fertile regions of the New World, because we've got enough when it comes to our main continent. So if we take a look at Isabella and we go to propose peace towards her, she's happy to accept just straight up peace, or she's happy to give us Barcelona, or happy to give us just Cordoba. However, she won't give us both of them. And if we go ahead and put our city that we've taken from her, unfortunately, she won't still give us those 2. So it means that we're a little bit stuck. Either we just give her back Waset, or we just take one of her cities. And I think our best bet here is just to go ahead and take one of her cities that are out here, or one of her towns. We can see Cordoba. We know that it's got at least 2 and potentially a 3rd treasure fleet resource. So we're going to go and grab that city, look to try and take that. So Cordoba is going to be what we go for. So we'll go ahead and peace, and we'll grab Cordoba. Thank you very much. And with that, now that peace has finally happened here, it means that we can focus on our war with Himiko. Yep, that's right. Now, to be honest, we've pushed back Himiko here. I'm not too fussed about it. I don't know what's going on here. She seems to be a little bit bugged out with Copan. They've done great work. Honestly, the AI is quite good at managing its army now. It can very well take troops back from the front lines that are damaged and go back and heal them, so that's really good. So you do need to focus them down, but there's still some little bugs like this that'll you know, it'll take time to get worked out. So we'll go ahead and try and peace out with Hamiko here. She won't actually take it. Hey, Hamiko, could I interest you in maybe a city or two? How about Wasset? Would you be keen? Oh, wonderful. She'll take it. All right. Well, it looks like we did actually manage to get something out of taking Wasset, but it means all of our units have now been vacated. It means we can go ahead and take Cordoba. And as you can see, it's got some... Hold on. Give me a second here. Where are our tiles? We've got our hex grid. Where are our resources? Okay, we don't get to see the resources right now. For some reason, it doesn't show us the resources. We'll just go ahead. We'll put the granary down. We can't even do that. We can't even move out towards this position. We've lost all of our. What if we turn it on and turn it off again? Let's try that. No, still doesn't like it. All right, that's okay. We'll sort it out next turn. But we're moving towards our goals. The primary thing that we're looking for is to have 6 towns or cities that are out over in the New World, and then to have them as our religion. And that's going to enable us to grab that final point for military, our legacy military path. We've completed our science, we've completed our culture, our economic one is coming along. We've got our treasure fleets that are making their way back. But let's just quickly do a nice review of what's happening here, because as you can see, some yields are getting next level. Now, unfortunately, the House of Wisdom did get built. It wasn't by us, but it did mean that we were able to kick out a couple more citizens that we had working down here. Keep in mind that you can kick out citizens of tiles that are rural, but not the ones that are working on resources. So you've got to be careful about planning out your city and about which tiles you actually want to work, especially for situations like this, because it means that we are stuck with the elephants, which we're okay with. We don't mind the elephants, but it's a key component of decision-making early game. So we'll leave it there for this turn rollover, and I think next turn rollover, or at least the next time I speak to you guys, we'll be very close to the end. It's turn 75, and we've almost completed all of our legacy paths. Our culture's completed, our science is done, our military's finished, and our economic is sitting at the final point. And the good news is we've got a single treasure fleet making its way across the ocean, and hopefully on this turn that should give us all 4 completed, which indeed it does. And it means that we now sit at 94% on the age progress, so we're looking pretty decent heading into the modern age here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I still am yet to play a complete campaign through to the modern age, so I still don't know exactly where to go in a playthrough like this, so this is probably going to be the end of this playthrough. But just to go over some benchmarks here, we've got the 1014 science, which is pretty good, 1443 culture, and 1,000 gold per turn, which is not too bad at all. It's a nice little bank that we've begun to build up. If we take a look at, I mean, what else is there realistically that we can look at? With regard to the techs, like we're on future tech now, and we're also looking at future civic. When it comes to comparing our, when it comes to comparing our yields against the deity AI's yields, we're doing relatively well. I don't want to brag, but we're 15x Isabella. Well, I mean, to be fair, she's lost quite a few cities. Poor girl hasn't been having a good game. She's fallen off from S tier, we'll say that much. Sorry, Isabella. But anyway, we're gonna leave it there. Look, at the end of the day, I think this was a pretty fun playthrough. We've learnt a lot as well. The fact that you're gonna be putting those cultural heads, where are they? Down here somewhere. Those big heads. You can only put them on tiles with happiness. Well, they're not here. We learned that the hard way. But for the future, we've learned something. But I think Machu Pikchu has been instrumental in this game. He's brought in some crazy yields. But I think the most important thing was just going back to this whole concept of the strategy, going into Eagle Banner to get 20% science immediately, or not immediately, but relatively quickly, and then just making sure that we max them out with our great works as quickly as we can. And you can see we've got so many great works here, which is, I guess, quite typical once you reach the end of the age, but we're able to hit that 20% cap pretty damn quickly. So we're going to leave it there, folks. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, feel free to leave a like. If you've got any feedback at all, make sure you leave it down in the comments. And if you want to play this seed, make sure you join the Discord. Other than that, we'll leave it there. And of course, if you're looking forward to more Civ 7 content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because there is always time for one more turn.